Hey there, besties. Let's talk about the time the US, the UK, and the Soviet Union pretended to be allies, but were secretly seconds from blocking each other on every platform. Welcome to Yalta and Potsdam, the conferences where teamwork went to die. Picture it. February 1945. The war in Europe isn't over yet, but the post war drama is already simmering. The big three, Roosevelt, Churchill, and Stalin, are meeting at the Yalta Conference. And oh, honey, the tension. You could cut it with a butter knife. They're supposed to be allies, but this vibe feels more like a forced group vacation between frenemies. Roosevelt's trying to keep the peace. Churchill is sipping his tea while side eyeing Stalin, and Stalin, stone cold, probably already plotting. Now, they did agree on a few things. Germany would be divided into four occupation zones, one for each major Allied power, plus France. Eastern European countries were supposed to hold free elections, and Stalin promised to help out in the Pacific once Germany was defeated. But, sweetie, let's be real. Stalin was never going to let Eastern Europe just float off into democracy. His idea of a free election was vote for my people or don't vote at all. Fast forward to July 1945, and the vibes have officially shifted. FDR had passed away, and Harry Truman, definitely not in the Roosevelt Stalin fan club, took his seat at the table. Churchill replaced mid conference by Clement Attlee after losing his election. Suddenly, it's Truman, Stalin, and Attlee at Potsdam, and that so called alliance on life support. And just to spice things up even more, Truman walks into Potsdam with a secret. The United States had just successfully tested the first atomic bomb. It was called the Trinity test, and Truman was feeling bold. He thought he had the upper hand. But surprise, Stalin was like, cute, I've already read the spoilers. The writer of those spoilers? Klaus Fuchs. Fuchs was a German born physicist working on the Manhattan Project, the ultra top secret program building America's atomic weapons. But instead of keeping his mouth shut, Fox was passing intel straight to Soviet agents. He gave Stalin the cheat codes to the atomic age, and once the U.S. dropped the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the clock started ticking. By 1949, the Soviets had tested their own nuclear bombs, and it all traced back to that betrayal. And honey, let me tell you, once that tea spilled, the paranoia began to boil. If the Soviets had infiltrated the most secret program in American history, who else were they watching? Suddenly, everyone in the U.S. was looking sideways at their neighbors, teachers, scientists, actors, even the lady at the grocery store. The fear that communists had wormed their way into American life spread like wildfire. This is where the Red Scare kicks off, and the House Un-Americans Activity Committee, HUAC for short, starts dragging people in for questioning. But don't worry, we'll dig deeper into that drama soon. While America and the Soviets were sizing each other up, Germany was getting carved up like leftovers after a wartime feast. Berlin was also divided into four zones, even though it sat deep in Soviet controlled East Germany. And baby, that situation was drama waiting to happen. By 1946, Churchill had had enough. He gave a speech in Missouri. Yes, Missouri, declaring that an iron curtain had descended across Europe. Not literal, but symbolic. Everything behind that curtain under Stalin's control. Eastern Europe went dark. No freedom of speech, no fair elections, no open press. Just red flags and secret police. And then, just when you thought it couldn't get any more intense, here comes Berlin again. In 1948, Stalin tried to squeeze the Allies out of West Berlin. He blocked off all rail, road, and canal access. His plan? Starve the city until it was surrendered to Soviet control. But the Western Allies weren't about to let that happen. So they launched the Berlin Airlift. For nearly a year, planes flew day and night, dropping off food, medicine, and supplies. Some pilots even dropped candy for kids, earning them the nickname Candy Bombers. It was one of the largest humanitarian air missions in history, with a plane landing every 30 seconds at one point. And get this, the constant takeoffs, landings, and precise timing needed to keep all those aircraft safe, it basically forced the creation of modern-day air traffic control. So yes, the Berlin airlift didn't just save a city, it changed the way planes navigate the skies today. It was a massive logistical flex, and eventually Stalin gave in. He lifted the blockade in 1949, but the message was clear. Berlin was going to be the Cold War's most dramatic battleground. Remember that atomic monopoly America thought it had? Yeah, that didn't last long. Just months after the Berlin airlift ended, the Soviets tested their own nuke. The arms race was officially on, and from here on out, the Cold War was no longer a metaphor. It was powered by very real, very dangerous weapons. So, to sum it up, we were kind of allies, but the second that common enemy, Nazi Germany, was out of the picture, the cracks in that alliance exploded like, well, an atomic bomb. The US and the USSR weren't just taking different paths, they were building opposite worlds. One backed by capitalism and democracy, the other communism and control. And the tea? Oh, it's only just beginning to seep. Stick around, because in the next episode, we're talking about how the Truman drew a line in the sand, threw cash at Europe like it was on fire, and started a new American foreign policy that said, communism? Not on our watch. See you there, besties.